Right. Now, as I said, what is that now? First step is creation of DSO. So the first step what we discussed yesterday is you have to create a DSO, right? Now, DSO is a flat table we are discussing. So how do you create a flat table? It's pretty simple. You just have to specify what are the fields you want. Okay, just what is that? You just have to specify what are the, right? That means what info objects you want to use it in your DSO, that you have to specify it, right? And how do you specify now? How do you create a table? Normal flat table. You just specify what are the fields you want. In this, which field should be a part of primary key, non-primary key. That is, what are your key fields? Then, other than key, there is no concept of dimension, assigning the characters to dimensions, nothing. So how do you create a DSO? Is very simple. Just specify what are your key fields. That is your primary key. Then, non-primary keys, that is called as data fields. Whatever your key fields are there, you have to place it under key fields. Then you will get something called data fields. There you have to place your, right? So now, see now, so let us say now this was my, this is my info area, right? This is the object which we are using, YC underscore. No, you are putting on RTGs. This is not our system. This is our system, right? So now how do you create a DSO? Is very simple. Same thing. RX7 modeling tab, info provider level, then in the right frame, so you have to select the, what has to be selected now? Select the info area. So you have to select your info area. Then context menu, create data store object. Same way how you have created a cube. Same way select that particular info area. Okay. Now not this one, this one, this one, right? Yeah. Now RS7 modeling tab, info provider level, right frame, select your info area, context menu, create a data store object. So then it's asking to give some name and description. Same thing, give some name and description. Okay. YDSO underscore. We are saying now this is a, okay, give some name and description. After this you have to click on create. But what is telling? The length should be between 3 and 8. So that means the namespace create. Okay. Now this is the description. This is the technical name. And can you see what is that version now? So version is here new. And see, I said now what is that now? What are your primary keys you want? Place it under key fields. Other than that, you have to place it under data fields. But before that, it is asking for some. So that means when now you want to create a DSO, you have to do some settings. So now give some name and description. Then what is that? Go with what? You have to go to and do some settings. So what is the settings now? See up there? The first setting being the type of DSO. What type of DSO you want? Okay. Right now default option is what? Standard. So that's what. So as I said, as a BA consultant, maximum case you will be using a standard. Suppose you want to change it. Click on this pencil symbol. What type of DSO you want? Is it a standard or a direct update or a? So we said totally you have three types of DSOs. One is standard, second one is direct update, third one is write optimized. Out of these, which you want? Now I want it to be a standard. So select that particular, which option? Standard option. So now I have selected my DSO should be a standard one. Then type of DSO is done. Then next what is that now? SID's generation upon activation. So do you require any SIDs as such for DSO? DSO, what I am saying? It's a flat table. Suppose you are loading C1 M1 means data will also get stored as C1 M1 only. But earlier you have seen a cube. I was loading C1 M1, but how it was storing in the form of dimensionality. So SID is converted into dimensionality. That dimensionality was taken into your fact table. So that means for loading data into the cube you require a SIDs. Without SIDs it cannot generate any. And I have shown you one thing. What is that now? I was not having master data. For material I was not having any master data. Still I have loaded data into the cube. What was happening? First it was putting the data into P table. Further it was generating one SID. That same way for a DSO also, do you want to generate the SID? Observe now what it says. So when I am saying SID generation upon activation, just observe what it says. With the generation of SID indicator, you determine whether SIDs are generated in the when the data in DSO is activated. So, however, this reduces the performance of the query because SID values are generated at the. If you don't select it, what is going to happen? It is going to reduce your query performance because your SID is getting generated at the runtime when you are executing your query. That's why generally to avoid that, to improve our performance, we are going to select this particular checkbox. So now, what is that I am doing now? So we are checking this flag, okay? Okay? Then, SID generation is done. Next, what is that now? Next setting is unique data records. Name itself indicates what? Unique data. Unique means what? It's a unique means what? It's a different one. That means whether it is a new record or a modified record. Unique means. Unique records means what? Unique record means it's a new record. Modified record means what? As I said, character values are same, key figure value is changing, that is called as a, then that is, transaction is modified means it's not one unique one. Now when name itself indicates what it is going to do, if you select it, it will allow us to load only new records into your DSO. It will not allow us to load modified records into my DSO. What means that data in the active table is going to overwrite? Now I don't want to allow modified records into my DSO, then you can select this particular indicator called, what is that now? Unique data records. Just observe now if you want. With this indicator, you determine whether only unique records are posted in your DSO. So if the loaded record contains the request does contain that is already in the DSO, activation of request will lead to an error. That's what. If you have a modified record, what is that now? It is not going to allow us to perform activation of data in the But right now we want to allow both modified this indicator. What happens? Okay, if we select this indicator, it will allow us to load. It will allow us to load only new records into DSO. So what I am doing now? We are not checking that, okay? But if you select it, so it will not allow us to load on the modified records into my DSO. Only the new records will be posted, okay? Then, what is the next setting? See, set quality status to OK automatically. Set quality status to OK automatically. Now already I said we have seen something called QM status. We discussed something called quality maintenance status. What are the status you have seen? One is green. Green means load was successful. You have seen one more status called red. Red means load has failed. And there is one more status called yellow also. When you have seen yellow, still the loading processing was taking place. Okay? That was yellow. That means still further processing has to be done. Now, when I am loading data into DSO, where is your data entering? New data table first. Now, is your load is successful? I can say my load is successful when data is moved to active table and change log table. Is it failed? That means when I am loading data to the DSO, what is the status now? It is neither success nor failed. That means it will be yellow. It will be what? That means which status I am speaking about, just observe if you want. Yeah, RS7. Hello, you can hear me, right? What happened? It was new find time. Right. So now, this was my cube. We have loaded some data into this particular cube. What is that now status you can see here? This is what is your QM status. How many status you have as of now is? Green and red, right? Same way now when I load data to the DSO, the status will be what now? Yellow. The status will be what? That means you have to do some further. But I need to convert that status from yellow to green. So then you can select this particular checkbox called as set quality status to OK automatically. Why I need to select it? Because now when you want to activate your data in the DSO, suppose if your status is yellow, can I do any further processing? Only when the status is green, then we can. Now you have seen that I shown it for a cube also. When the status was red, was it available for reporting? When the status was red, this was my cube. So what is going to happen here now? Is that particular data is available for reporting purpose? That means I cannot do any further processing. If your either load is failed or if it is yellow, we cannot do any. So now, same thing, when I want to activate my data in the DSO, the status should be what? Green. So to convert that status from yellow to green, you have to select this particular indicator. So now what does that say? Use this indicator to set the status of data to OK, that is green, automatically after it has been loaded into the target. This indicator should always be set. Right? In this case, you have to confirm. Okay. Suppose if you have not selected it, what you have to do? I have to go there forcibly after loading. I need to forcibly convert it from yellow to green. Instead of that, of the data for request is set to okay. So activation of data can be done only when the status is, and if you can observe, this is by default selected. So now, what is that use is to, what is the use of that is? Okay, to set the QM status, quality status from yellow to. So what I am going to do? So we are going to check this. Okay, clear? Done. Next. So what is the next setting now? Just observe now. Activate data automatically. Activate data automatically, right? Now if I select this checkbox, which checkbox is that? Activate data automatically. So you need not perform this particular thing. Which process now? Step number 8. If I select activate data automatically, you need not perform. Once data comes to the new table, it will automatically trigger a process to move the data from new table to active table and change log table. Understand the logic? So when I select this checkbox, so need not perform your. Okay, if we select this, what is that now? Okay, we need not activate the data in DSO. Okay, the project in okay, we need not activate the data in, that is step 8 is not required. But here, what I am doing for you to understand clearly, I am not selecting it so that you will understand where data is coming from, there where I am pushing all those things. That's why I am not going to select it. But real time generally, we are going to select this particular checkbox. You know, observe. Use this indicator, right, to determine that stored data is activated automatically. So data can only be activated if the status is set to green. Clear now? That means when you want to select this particular checkbox, when you want to select this one, the 5th setting, what is that now? The 4th is must. Is that 1, 2, 3? Yeah. When I want to select it, the 4th checkbox has to be selected. Understand the logic now? See the dependencies. If you want to select this checkbox, this is mandatory. Excuse me. But right now I am not selecting it because, as I said, I will show you manually. You know what is activate data automatically? Then the last one is okay. So to select it, what is that now? 4th setting is mandatory. Okay. So next, what is that next setting is? Update data automatically. So if I select this checkbox, update data automatically, you need not perform the step number 9. Once the data comes to the DSO, it will immediately trigger a process to update the data from DSO to further object. Understand? So no need to perform any step number. So once data comes to the DSO, what is that now? It will trigger a process to update the data from DSO to further object. Okay. Now, when I want to select this update data automatically, the data should be either in active table or Because data is coming to the queue from where? Either active table or change log table. That means this is must. You know, if you want to select this indicator, activation is must. When I want to select this is must. Understand? So like that, those indicators has to be selected must. Understand the settings now? The dependencies is clear now? Okay, what are the settings has to be done for the DSO? Right, so suppose, so say update, use this selection to determine that data is uploaded automatically from the DSO to connected info providers. What is the dependency? This setting is not supported. The data can be updated only if it has been activated. Understand the logic now? So like that. So you can only activate the data now in the DSO when the quality status is set to be okay. You can only send the data to further object when the data is activated. That means to select this is mandatory. To select this is mandatory. Okay, but right now I am not selecting these two flags. Okay, why? Because I will show them manually. So this settings will be there only for your standard DSO. But when you change your DSO to another type, a direct update or now observe, is there any settings are there? Because there is no activation of data in DSO, there is directly data is going into your new table, right? Sorry, active table. Directly your data goes to, you know. So only standard DSO has those particular settings. Rest other two DSOs will not have any settings. Okay now? Clear now what are the settings to be done? Right. So any doubts with the settings? Yes? Any doubts regarding settings? Venu? Venugopal? Venkat? Hello? Yeah, fine. Vinay? Vinay, is it okay? Sudhi? Vinay? Okay, fine. So the settings are clear now. So then, how do we start now creating a DSO? As I said, very simple now. So what do you have to do? Place the primary key fields. Rest under what? Data fields. So what are the primary keys you want? What are the fields that you want as a part of primary key? You have to place it under key fields. The rest objects under what? Data fields. Now what is there here option? You can see one is key fields and other one is data. Don't think that all the characters has to be placed under key fields and all the key figures has to be placed under. It's not like that. Anyhow, key figures cannot be a part of primary key. So key figures always has to be placed under. Even the characters which are not as a part of your primary key, you have to place it under key fields. Now, what we said, data in the active table is going to overwrite. That is based on what it is going to overwrite is? Based on your key fields. So, data in the active table overwrites based on what? Based on your, suppose you have data like this customer and material, wherein I am selecting only customer number as my what I am doing, I am selecting only customer number as my key field. Now suppose you are loading data like this C1M1, C1M2. Now what is the concept of a key field? It will not allow any duplication. Now which is the key field now? So C1 what happens? C1 M1 will be overwritten by C1 M1 will be overwritten by what? That means how many records in the DSO now? Only one record. But suppose if you select now both as your key fields, what is going to happen now? So these two records will be part of, will it be overwritten now? The unique value is what? If one more record comes as C1 M1, then it is getting overwritten. Understand? So the data in the active table is going to overwrite based on your key fields. And how many maximum now you can have as a key field is 16. The 16 fields can be a part of primary key access. The same way what you have seen, right? That's a cube is a 16 dimensional structure we discussed, right? So like that. So be careful now while selecting what are the things that you want as your key fields. Now what you can do, left side you can use a template, all info objects, or you can use a template of your info cube. Earlier you created one cube, right? That I am taking as a template. Left side it will show now you the objects of your what? Info cube. Or you want to use a template as catalog, use the catalog. It shows what are the objects that are there in your catalog. Or if I say all info objects, means it displays now all the info objects that are available. Any template you use it. So then I am going to drop my objects under. So what are your prime key fields now? So let us say I am taking customer number as my key field. What has to be done? Select it. Where should I drop now? Select it. Drag and drop to my. That means now what is that now? Customer number I have taken is a part of my primary key. Then same way I want now, let us say material number. So let us say imagine material number is not a primary key. Where should I drop now? See, is it allowing in the data fields or not? Okay, but right now let us say customer number is also a part of key field. I am taking that. Then what is the time tracker you want? Let us say that is also a key field. I am putting that. But key figure can never be a part of key fields. So now I am just searching for my key figures now. So select this price. See, can I take as a key field? It has to be under data fields. Then your quantity also. Then finally your. So understand now? So like this. So specify now what are the key fields and what are the. That's it. That is how you can create a. Very simple. Do the settings of this. What are the fields you want as a primary key, place it under key fields, and other than that you have to place it under data fields. Okay. So after this what you have to do? I am going to activate this particular DSO. Okay. Right. So now this is front end how you are creating a DSO. Okay, front end we are creating a. But what happens? But internally in the database, it generates now. It generates what? 3 tables and one data source also. When I am creating a DSO, what is going to happen is, in the database it is going to generate totally 3 tables and one. Now what is the use of this particular data source is, now we need to load data from DSO to the cube. Again there should be some structure should be there. A channel should be the data has to go from one table to another table means. So now how did it go is through a structure called as what? Data source. So this data source is generated by the, this data source is what? It is generated by the system itself. Okay, this data source is what now? It is generated by system itself. So that, what is the data source that is generated? What is the use of that? That is used to load your data from what? DSO to, you need not create data, that will be generated by the system itself. Now DSO is getting activated, so this is what is going to happen in the back end. Now I want to see those tables. Okay? So the naming convention of tables will be like this. What are the tables that it has generated now? So first one is called as, so new data table name will be like this, /BICR0. Right now DSO is not a ready-made one. So user defined, it takes actually /A. Then what is that now? DSO name. Okay? A followed by what? DSO name followed by 40. So 40 refers to always to new table. So what will be the new table name will be /BAC/A DSO name followed by 40. Then you have active data table. So active data table name will be same thing /BAC/A DSO name. At the end, what is that now? 00. Okay, /BAC/A DSO name 00 represents the active table, and the change log table name will be /BAC/B followed by some 10-digit random number. What is it now? Followed by a 10-digit random number it is going to take. So that is the naming of your change log table. And what is that now? Data source I said, right? Data source name will be 8 followed by what? DSO name. 8 followed by your DSO name. Clear now? So these are the things that is going to generate in your database. If you want to observe that, see now observe now DSO has been activated. So just observe this status now. What has been done, I am showing you. See now. What is doing? Creating a export. See. What is the data source name? 8 DSO name. Can you see that? And now this is the DSO what I have created now. So you want to see now. See what are the table names you want to get. You can go to manage. What is there here? Contents. Can you see now here? New table, active table, and but suppose if you click on manage of your cube, what is that you can get? Only fact table. Cube has only one fact table, right? But DSO is like how? 3 tables. Go to contents tab. I'm just checking new data. What is that now? /BAC/A DSO name at the end is, that is your, which table is that? New data table, right? So now you want to look at this particular new data table, what you can do? Go with SC11. Yeah, YDSO underscore cube name, right? Click on display. Now can you see now? Can you see customer number? Is it storing as it is or not? Calendar day, price, quantity, revenue. And what is that last object? Record mode. What is the last object you can see here is? Record mode. Now what is the length for this? That n, x, that is image is held by what now? Which field is that? So the technical object in the DSO is what? 0 record mode. Technical object in the queue was 0 request ID. Okay, and if you can observe, is customer number is a key field? It's not selected, right? But I have taken as a. So now, remember what are the key fields that I am selecting while creating a DSO? It is for which table? Data is getting overwritten in the new table or active table? Active table, that means the key fields whatever you have selected is for active table, not for new table or. Now, look at your now active table now. The new table is done. Next is, so what is that active table now? At the end you have DSO name followed by what? 00. Right? So that is your active table. So go and look at your active table if you want. Click on display. Can you see now? Customer number is a key field. Material number, calendar day, then the price, quantity, revenue. Clear? This is now active table. Then you want to look at your change log table. /BAC/B followed by some 10-digit random number. So 4 zeros, 101, 000. So now go there also. Look at that part. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, 101, then 000. Display. Now this is change log table of this so particular DSO. And again you can observe customer number is not a key field here. The request is a key field. And what is that now? Exactly in this particular area the image is maintained. Clear now? So these are the 3 tables which has been generated in your database. And I want to see the data source also. Which data source I want to see? The one which is generated by the system. For that what we can do? Go with what? Data sources. Now which interface I need to select here? You are loading data from the data source generated is used to load data from what? DSO to further object. DSO is in BA system. Further object is also in BA system. That means you have to select which interface now? BI to BI. So what is that now? 8 YDSO underscore. Did I create this data source? It's all generated by your system itself, right? So just look at fields, what fields it has. Now it has same fields of your DSO or not. Clear? Right. Now your DSO is ready. Now for this DSO I need to load it from file. From DSO I need to send it to my info queue. So any doubts with this step 1? Because rest all part you know. This is the important thing. Yes? Sudhi? Yeah, tell me.
I didn't know how we got the random number.
The random number will be taken by the system itself. Go to manage, contents, change log table. What is the table name? /BAC/B followed by some 10-digit random number. Clear? Hello? Sudhi?
I don't know, my screen get refreshed when I can show.
Just a second. Restart your team viewer. Now, observe now how is it? This is your DSO. Click on Manage. You have Contents tab. Which table you want to see now? Change log table. Click on it. What is it you can get at the top? Yeah, fine. Still any other doubts? Venkat. Vinay? Okay. So go on mute now. Yes, from your side. Okay. Fine. So now, what I'm doing now? So this DSO I need to start loading the data from a flat file. So what I'm doing now? So I'm repeating now these steps and all you know again. So I'll go a bit fast now. So what is that now? Step 2 is creation of a data source. So now I'm going to create one data source. So from where I want to load is from a flat file. What I'm doing, we are selecting our application component, right click, create a data source, give some name, okay, data source name. Then what type of data we are extracting is this transaction data, okay, give some name, extraction tab. Where is your file now? It's in the server, AL11 files, dir underscore home. Then what is that file name is? T data, right? The same file I'm using, copy this name, one row to be ignored, separated is a separator, comma, and then go to the proposal tab where you can click on your load example data. System will read the file and proposes your data source. What you can do in the fields tab, if you are satisfied with the proposal, use it, or else according to the target you can copy the object names. Copy it. It went quantity here. Sorry. What is it now? Customer number, copy it, YC underscore CNO. Okay. Then the material number. Mm. Right. So then same way, what are the copy it. What is going to happen now? A reference is followed. So we don't want any. Same thing what you did in the last exercise. Unit is following. We don't want that. This is also not required for me now. And finally what? Then you can see the preview. So you know data source is ready. Then what is that now? Step 3 is. So this part you know, right? So creation of transformations. So for which what is that now? Source is your target is what? DSO. So data source has been activated. What I am going to do now? This is my data source. From this data source, data has to go to my DSO, select this data source, context menu, create a transformation. Source is the data source. Target is what now? Data store object. And what is that name? YDSO underscore DM. Sorry, I given 0. Now can you observe now? So it's now detail level. See, earlier from price and unit coming to your price. But now from price to price, currency to currency, detail level. Right? So now, revenue, suppose you want to apply a formula. Revenue is getting data from only from, it's not getting from unit, because unit to unit there is separate thing. So revenue should not read it from source. Revenue should get data from price. Is it bringing any unit as such? But for a cube it was bringing that is the aggregated level, right? From quantity, then apply a formula. Then you can go back. And if you can see, what is that aggregation now here? Aggregation is what? But for a cube, what is the aggregation you have seen? Summation. Here, what are the options now? The two options are there. If you say summation, again what happens? Data will get added up. But for a cube, you do have any option called override? Any key figure you take, by default, the aggregation will be summation override only. See? That is why it is getting overwritten. Okay? So now, but if you look at the transformation for a cube, this is the transformation for a cube. Any key figure you consider, what is the aggregation option? Only summation is there. But the DSO has what? Along with summation, you do have overwrite option also. That's what I said. To utilize overwrite functionality, this is the option. Okay? Transfer the values, apply your transformations, then activate it. So now you have made a link from your file to data source to DSO. Your transformations are getting activated now. Yes, transformation has been activated. Now, just go and look at your DSO now. So this is your DSO. Right click on this and you can see the data flow. The data source to through transformation, it's going to your DSO. Now from DSO I need to send it to our info cube, right? So that means what is that? My next step is I'm going to create one creation of what? Info cube. Okay, now. So now, how do you create a cube? See, same thing. Okay, info cube, getting data from, and already I have created one cube in the earlier exercise. Now, can you see there is an option here called, what is that now? So when I say copy from, what happens? Only the design is copied. The structure of the cube is copied, not the data. Remember, you cannot copy the data like that. Only the design of your cubes, you know. So copy from what? Earlier I have created one a cube called YIC underscore demo is the cube which you have created in the earlier exercise. I have given that. Now what is going to happen now? Did I create any dimensions? Did I assign any characters? So what are the cube 1 is the copy from? So the same design is taken into this particular. Clear now what is copy from option? So when you say copy from option, only the design of cube is copied but not the data. So then you can activate it. So next step is to creation of for this transformation source is what? Okay, now what you can do, this is your cube now, what you have created, this way, cube is activated, this is your cube. So now data from here has to go into this particular cube. So what you can do, select the cube, right click. Now source of transformation is what now? You can use data source also, but if you give data source, which data source name you have to give? That EI YDS which is generated by the system. To avoid that confusion, let us say data store object itself. What is that name? Now again, if you can observe, for all the key figures it is summation only. Already values are calculated in the DSO itself. So now from DSO to cube I am using all direct assignment only. And finally, now you have made entire link from your source to target now. So this is what is your, up to this is ready now. Data source, DSO to the cube. Just see the data flow for this particular cube. So from data source through transformation to the DSO through one more transformation to Y. Now just everything is ready. I need to start fetching the data, right? Right. So now, what is your step number 6 now? Yes. The creation of info package. So what you can do, same thing. Select your data source, right click, create an info package, use some description, everything is already filled. So now what are the 8 records that are there in your file 1 will be coming to your PSA. So once you get data was requested, go to monitor now. Ten records are there, right? So 10 records has come to your PSA. Fine. So what are the 10 records are there has come to your. So data has come to your now. What? To your info package to PSA. Then what I have to do now? You are going to trigger a, what it will do? It brings the data from PSA to what? Right? DSO. In the 2 plus or 3 plus. Okay? So data source to where in DSO it will come? To the new data table of DSO, right? So now what you can do, you can select the DSO, you can expand it and double click on DTP. So this is your DSO expanded. Can you find a DTP over there? So just double click on it. Now what you can see, source of the DTP is the data source, target is the DSO. Extraction is from the data source. Updating is into a DSO. Then just activate it and execute it. So up to this part, it's as usual, but the thing is your target was DSO. Do you want to see the monitor now? So the status is right now yellow, still it is processing now. It is extracting down data from the data source. Request is set to green. So now if you want, you can see the contents by clicking on administer data target, or what you can do. Now you want to see the contents. You're a bit confused to where to see. Select DSO, manage. Now can you see what is the status now? So we have selected set quality status to OK automatically. And if you can see, is this data is available for reporting purpose? Now what we said, if we don't activate the data in DSO, this request is not available for reporting purpose. And look at the contents. Which table you want to see now? How many records are there here? See, anytime data entering DSO, what is going to happen now? Data has entered what? Any image is there? Image will be maintained in your change log table. So, right now where is data has come now? New table. What about active table? 0. What about change log table? Still it is also. Clear now, so where data has come now? Whenever I am loading data to DSO, it has entered now new data table first. Clear this what is now? See now? What is that now? Next step you can observe. So what is your step 8 is? This part you don't know. Activate the data in. So how do you activate it? Same thing, you can select the DSO. Then you have to click on manage. Then activate data. So this is your DSO. Click on manage. What is that icon here? You can see activate data store object data. Next you can observe this icon is not there for your cube, right? See? Only the DSO has that icon. Or what you can do, you can select your DSO, context menu, what is that option now? Anything is same. Okay, now what you can do, select this request and you have to click on start. So once you are clicking on start, so you can refresh here until the entry is removed. Now in the background, data is moving from new table to active table and change log table. It has taken one background job. To observe the status of the job, you can click on this job, execute. Right now job is, so you need to wait until you get as finished. Or what I can do, you can refresh here itself until the entry is removed. Then, so that means if you go and observe now, select the DSO, click on manage. Can you see now, is it available for reporting purpose? Request is available for what? Reporting. And look at the contents now. Which contents? New table, active table, and so I want to look at new table. Click on it. So data is moved from new table to active table. How many entries are there now? So if you develop a report 100 to 200 you are getting. What about the change log table? Here also 10 records now. And if you can see, what is there at end? Image. Clear now, this is the image what I am speaking about. Now, what is that now? Data has come to the DSO, I need to send it to my info cube. So what is your last step now? Trigger DTP2. So what you can do? You can select your cube. Then you can expand it. And what you can do, and double click on data transfer process. Okay. So now what you can do, same thing. This is your cube. Expand it. What you can see here? Data transfer process. Double click on this. The target of the DTP is the info cube. Source of the DTP is the data source, DSO. And if you can see, extraction mode is what is there now? Now when I say when I am loading data to the cube from DSO with delta, where is data is coming from? Change log table. Can you understand the extraction from? Suppose if I change it to full, then it is. But suppose if I change it to delta. Now first time active table also 10 records, change log table also 10 records. Will it make any difference now? The first time it doesn't make any difference. From next time onwards it should be what? Active table only. Then activate it. Then you can. Now what happens? What is the 10 records that you have in your DSO will be loaded into your info cube now. So right now extraction is going on. Then right now it is updating into your info cube. Still loading taking place. Done now. So just go and see the contents of your cube. Administrative data target. So no need to any activate or something. It's already, because directly it's going to your fact table only, right? Contents. So for a DSO, I have performed something called activation of data in DSO, but if you have selected the checkbox, activate data automatically, you need not perform that step. Okay, customer, material, your request ID, calendar day, and the key figures. Now data in the file, data in the DSO, data in the cube, all are similar. Just check now. Let's see one M1, 100, 2. Everywhere it is one and the same now. Right. So this is how now you are loaded now your first file into your. So there was no problem with your first load. The problem was from my second load, right? So now, second time I have got some file. What is it? Modified transaction data dot. Second time there was a file which has one modified record and a new record, right? When I was loading this file, this value is getting added up and it was becoming 2 plus 5. That is a problem, right? So now, imagine after some time I have got a second file. This file also I want to load it into my info cube. So where should I start from? Everything is ready. So now I am showing you that before remains, after remains, all those things. Everything is ready. You just start from your info package. So just go to your info package, change your file name. Now how many records are coming to the PSA is? The 2 records are coming. The latest load is the 2 records. Then I have to trigger my first DTP, that is your DSO. This is your first DTP now. Extraction is delta, updating is into a DSO. Execute it. Now what happens? These 2 records will go into where in DSO? Huh? This is DSO I am loading, right? Where it will go? New data table of your DSO. Look at the contents if you want. DSO, manage. Is it available for reporting purpose? The second request. And you can see for the first request there is some symbol, arrow marks. That means this data has been loaded from DSO to further object. It has been distributed to further object, but this has not yet been. Yes. By seeing the symbols you can identify. Contents, new table, how many records you have now? See? Anytime you load data to DSO, data entering where? To the new data table first. What about active table? How many records will be there? 10 records are there, right? First time I have loaded. What about change log? 10 records. So now, data has come to new table of DSO. What do you have to perform now? Activate the data in this DSO. What is that icon now, as I said? Activate, select the request, start. So now you can refresh here until that entry is removed. So now refresh here, the entry is removed. So now, so just observe now what is going to happen now. New table, number of entries is what? 0. What about active table now? Yes, 10 records plus 2 records. Out of this, one is modified. That is going to overwrite. Plus one more is new. Total it will become 11 records. So now C1 M1 100, 2 was there, it has been overwritten by 5, and last one is a new record. So when you develop a report on DS, what is the data coming is 5. Now, what about change log table? Yes. Any other answer? Change log table will have how many records now? 10 is the first time load. Next time load, 2 records are coming. Out of 2, 1 is modified. When a modified record is coming, what happens? It takes as 2 records. 10 plus 2 plus 1 new. Totally 13 records. Okay? Understand the logic now? So now, observe now, see, record number 1 to 10 is your first time load. Next request, how many records has come? 1, 2. See the first record, C1M1. Same record as n, 100 minus. C figures being multiplied by what? Minus 1. Then what is it? 2 minus 200 minus is what? X is your before image. And after changing the value, 100, 5, 500 is blank. That is your after image. So this is before image, this is before image, after image. And this is again came newly to the DSO, is marked as what? N. So any record which is entering the DSO for the first time is marked as new image. Can you understand that particular part as N here? N is the new image. Clear now? What is new and what is? Then load it to the cube now. What you can do? Execute it. Okay, 3 records has come now. Just see the data in the cube. Contents. Info cube content. What fields you want to see for output. So this is first time load. Next time load is what? 2 records have same request ready now. What is coming? 0. Before events was minus 100, after events was 100. So if you add also 100 plus 0 will become 100. Then it has come as 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 200 plus 300 is will become 500. But why the storing as 2 separate records is because there is a difference in your request ID. Understand now? So this is how you can now load data into info cube from a flat file. Now is the values are getting same now? That is the main use of your